Hi everyone, I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney, but tonight I have an update. I just received a notification and I saw the video and I figured let's talk about this right away. There's an update in the Daddyofive case. Apparently, biological mom Rose Hall has won custody, emergency custody, of Emma and Cody, which I'm guessing are her biological children, and the other three were not. And so, while all the stuff was going on with Daddyofive, she and her attorney were going through all of the videos and evidence and everything regarding that case and talking to the West Virginia Department of Social Services, and apparently they were able to convince a court to grant emergency custody of Emma and Cody. And so what that means is not the end of the case, unfortunately. It means that Emma and Cody were removed pretty much by force, I'm not talking about violent force or anything, but I mean by the sheriff's department and given to the biological mother, Rose Hall, for her to have custody of them while a full custody hearing is being adjudicated. That process can take weeks to months, depending upon how fast a court system wants to move along. But so this is a really, really good thing, guys. This is a really good thing. It doesn't mean that the damage is completely undone or everybody's going to be okay. It just means that some positive movement is happening here. This is frankly one of the best outcomes I could possibly have hoped for as an attorney. Backing up for a moment, if you're not familiar with the Daddyofive case, yes, Mark, I do hope the other children get help too. If you're not familiar with the Daddyofive case, go watch some of the videos. You can just search for it at this point. Philip DeFranco and a bunch of other creators made videos and offered support in basically a child abuse case. The parents, the stepmother and biological father, they had a YouTube channel going of them interacting with the children, basically. Nothing wrong there, but these parents, these custodial parents, were pranking the children in these extreme ways, and then there was some stuff that obviously looked like hitting and pushing and basically child abuse. And so they made lots of arguments that maybe it was all scripted or acted, maybe nobody had a problem with it, had given their consent or anything, but it still looked like child abuse. It still looked a whole lot like somebody needed to be looking into this. So with the attention that some of the YouTube channels were able to bring to it, it looks like we finally have some motion. But without that, biological mom was talking about having a difficult time getting into a custody case. I think she lost her custody case initially, and that's how Daddyofive, whose name I don't actually know, ended up with custody of the two children, their two children. This is not the end of the road for them. The children have probably been traumatized. They are probably feeling an entire range of emotions about, one, being rescued, finding out that biological mom was fighting for them, learning some things don't work the way they were taught by their father's actions, and they're going to have a lot of debriefing, a lot of I want to say decongesting. Their mind is congested with all of these emotions, and it really can undo one's personality, and one's mind. It really is crippling to these children to have such difficult and contradictory invalidation happening. So, yay! Kudos to Tim Conlon, and I'm sorry if I got that wrong, and everybody else who has made this situation happen. This is not the end of the road, though. So now this is just an emergency motion for custody. Biological mom has custody. There's still a custody case going on. The emergency motion did not grant them. I don't have it. I haven't seen it. I'm guessing it did not grant her the right to take them out of the state because she is staying here or there in West Virginia for the duration of the case. Thank you to whoever is supporting that effort, because I don't know what circumstances she comes from, but not everybody can do that. That's a difficult thing to just leave your home state, go stay somewhere else for weeks or months while a custody case is being adjudicated. So thank you to whoever's helping out with that, assuming that's happening. Next, there will be a full custody hearing. I do not know West Virginia custody law, so let me speak generally. The more or less standard for custody cases is best interests of the child. Yes, there's a whole lot more to that. In Pennsylvania, we have 17 factors that apply to what is in the best interests of the child. Some of those things will apply, some of those things won't apply. Things like after a certain age, the child has more and more input. I believe these children are too young to be able to dictate where they want to live, but they can certainly testify as to their experiences and where which parent they favor and why. That information is still quite relevant. The next step will be that the court will hear a full-on, basically custody hearing, determine what is in the best interests of the child. Usually, it's something down the middle. It's usually not something extreme like no custody to one party. If both parties have put up a good case and really do have some of the child's interests in mind and at heart, the court will usually craft a remedy, sometimes a very complex remedy. In some of my custody cases, we've had a lawyer appointed just for the child. We've had the court require parties to go through certain types of counseling, and if parties don't go through that counseling, then certain things happen. We've had certain levels of contact between parties, between children and parties, limited until certain experts, doctors and such, have signed off on the parties having gone through and been found to be prepared to continue having this kind of contact with their child. So these custody cases are so complex, and it's at the same time always tearing at your heartstrings as a lawyer, making it just all that much more difficult to see through the mud that is being slung back and forth sometimes between parties. So this is a great situation. I know that it's not a great situation, absolutely speaking, but relatively speaking, this is the best thing that could happen. Social services has their eyes on it. A judge will have his or her eyes on it. Biological mom is back in the picture. She's got an attorney who's apparently willing to make YouTube videos. Go watch the YouTube video. I just wanted to get on camera and tell you guys how floored I was that this happened, and really, really kind of emotional about it. So let's all, yay for something that worked. We did it YouTube, but we did it internet. This was amazing. So thank you all for joining me. I'm not really going to make this any longer than it needs to be. Do any of you have any questions before I close the stream? Otherwise, it has been a long day for me, and this was an awesome way to... Oh, okay, here we go. Here's a great question. Aza Pliskin says, but they said that social services came and found them innocent. Am I calling them liars? Yes and no. What they're talking about is when you have a investigation, when someone calls social services, or in Pennsylvania here we have Child Protective Services or something like that. I'm so excited about this, I'm getting ahead of myself. When someone calls social services opens two kinds of investigations. One is just an assessment. This is just speaking generally. This is not West Virginia law. I don't know anything about West Virginia custody law. the social services, when they open an assessment and close an assessment, they usually close an assessment because it's unfounded. What they're saying is that social services conducted some kind of assessment or investigation and did not issue a finding of child abuse. Whether or not that's a recent one or whether or not that's this case, I don't think that's this case. I think that was a previous report, was investigated or assessed and was found to be unfounded for child abuse, as in not supportive of a social services finding of child abuse. Whether I'm not even sure if that rises to a criminal level of child abuse, so that's I am calling them a liar in the sense that if they're saying that anything new is unfounded, I doubt that anyone could look into anything new and already issue an adjudication. But at least there's a judge involved now and a lawyer on biological mom's side. And if it's gonna get better from here, this is the best it can get. What Cody and Emma have to look forward to is lots of therapy. And I really hope they get the right kind of therapy, because it is tough to find a decent professional sometimes. No, I am not at all speaking negatively against psychologists. Most psychologists are wonderful. Sometimes it's difficult to find the correct one and get an accurate diagnosis and an accurate treatment plan. Once in a while, you have kind of the minds don't meet, the child doesn't open up, and what can you do about it? It's hard to, you can't get down on the psychologist for it. Just sometimes the relationship doesn't work out. So they've got to go through the kind of triage. Then they've got to actually speak to their social worker, psychologist, etc. It's going to take a little while for this one to play out. This is not done for Cody and Emma. It's not done for biological mom or for Daddyofive. This is just a great first step. Let me look at chat here. So Xenon just joined. Can I get a quick recap? So you're going to want to watch videos of Daddyofive. Philip DeFranco did a good 1 or 2 videos on it. There are other supporters listed in here: Chambers of Heart, Yourself Suit, and Imalex, or I'm Alex, excuse me. Imalex. But these YouTube channels made videos trying to keep the custody case against Daddyofive going, and they so let me back up. Daddyofive was a YouTube channel of a parent, a father, and the stepmother of 2 children, and I believe they were biological parents of the other 3, so 5 children, and they would prank the children. Among other things, there was some hitting and pushing and shoving involved, and it looked like it could really be child abuse if you watch the videos. You could certainly have a different opinion. I respect that you have a different opinion. You dirty child abuser. No, I'm kidding. A little bit. If you really think that level of physical interaction was warranted, maybe you and I have a disagreement on a very personal level. So, okay, yes, off Colfax sounds like beer o'clock as well. It's midnight where I am. Everyone have a good night. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video, where we'll talk probably about the Fire studio, the Fire concert thing that didn't go so well. A few other things to talk about too, but I'm your favorite copyright attorney. I'm Leonard French. Have a good night. Thank you.